Hello, my name is YLAM, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new FrSky's digital radio. This is the Horus X12S. This is the radio that's been floating around for quite a while now. I think they released the first pictures like 8 to 6 months ago, and we've seen a lot of people have prototypes of it. This is the actual production model, so we're going to open it up, take a look, see if anything has changed. Before we open up the case, this is the carton it comes in. Has some shrink wrap to protect the case, so it's very nicely wrapped when it comes to you. So before we open up the radio, let's talk very quickly about the case. Definitely a very nice case that comes with it. Looks like they beefed up the corners a little bit to ensure that it can survive bumps and dings along the way. Most of us probably will not be using this case. You know, if you're a quad flyer, you're most likely working out of a backpack, so this would definitely not fit in most backpacks. So we would most likely just go ahead and put this case somewhere else or reuse it for some other purpose, maybe batteries or something. But it does seem like it's a very nice case. They definitely put some design thoughts into this, but personally I'd rather they have a simple case and then either reduce the price or put more money into the digital radio itself. We have two latches up front, and when you open it up, you can see the radio right there. Up top here you have two foam blocks to keep the radio in place. So let's go ahead and take out the radio. So we'll talk about the radio in a second. We'll put this aside. Inside here is a very simple instruction manual that comes with it. Most radios, you know, they come with a bit beefier instruction manual, but I guess FrSky's, maybe it's downloaded online or they're still working on it. Up top here is the charger for your radio. So that's always useful, needed. Nothing on this side. Nothing crossing over here. And this is the neck strap for your radio. Definitely a much beefier neck strap than what we're used to seeing. So definitely quality neck strap, which is always good, nice to see. Other than that though, there is nothing else in this case. So let's go ahead, close it up, and let's take a look at the digital radio. From the looks of things, it doesn't look like anything cosmetic has changed. Most of the switches and settings are where we saw them on the prototype models. So definitely still very nice looking. Definitely has plenty of switches for you. Just feeling the gimbals right out of the box, there's definitely quality to them. There's definitely more resistance to them, and some people may like that, some people may not, but you can always adjust these to whatever tension you like. But definitely quality gimbals come with it. One thing to note on this side, this is a ratcheting throttle, so if you don't like that ratcheting, you're going to have to open up the back of this and then flip around the plate that gives you that ratcheting feeling on this side. As opposed to the Tyrannus one, this one's much more noticeable. So like on the Tyrannus one, it's almost, you almost don't feel it, but this one you can definitely feel it. So if you don't like that ratcheting, that's probably going to be one of the first things that you do very quickly. In terms of switches, all of these are 3-position switches. This one up here is the momentary switch or trainer switch, however you want to call it. More 3-position switches here. Another 3-position switch up top, and then this is the only 2-position switch on the controller itself. So definitely a lot of options for you in terms of switches. The knobs, I didn't really hear anybody talk about this, but all of the knobs are actually different. There's a detent on this one to center it, so that is the center, and it's very easy to find. For this one, this is a clicking knob in which the going all the way to the left is its natural off position, and then switching it all the way to the right for maximum. And then this one, there is no detent at all, so you can move this all the way around and there's absolutely no detent. So each one of these is styled a little bit differently, so you can use them for something different. So I didn't realize, I didn't know about that until I actually got my hands on the radio. The trims, they work as expected. Really not much to say about them except that they're there. The sliders, there is a detent to the sliders. a good bit of resistance to them, and you can definitely very easily find the detent at the center for the sliders. If you're going to be using this for a quadcopter, most of these levers and switch and dials you'll probably not end up using, but who knows. Over on this side, there is a rotating dial. For those of you who have used like not Spectrum but Futaba radios, this will feel very familiar with you. There's also a switch when you push in. Each one of these red markers is actually a menu, so there's system, there's telemetry, there's model, and then there's a return to the home screen. Over on this side, there is a more of a joystick feeling on this switch, so I'm really not sure what that's used for just yet. And then there's the standard page up and page down, which is what we're used to seeing on most Taranis radios. Hidden underneath where you would have your lanyard is the actual on button. So let's go ahead and very quickly look at the back of the radio. One thing to notice is that there are two extra controls up top here, and this one has a detent right at the very center, a very noticeable detent, and on the other side it is an identical switch. So there's a detent right in the middle, and then there's actually a notch right here. So it gives you good purchase on this particular one, and you can just feel for this notch to know where it is in the current settings. So pretty nice wheel for both sides if you're going to use them. Up top here, if you flip this out, this is a place where you can plug in a external antenna. I'm not sure exactly if it's an external antenna for the FrSky system in here. I didn't really read too much into that, so I'm not sure what that external antenna is for, or if it's a antenna for the module that you can plug in. So in here you can fit any JR style module, which is like the biggest bonus for using an FrSky radio, is to be able to have that module. It gives you so much flexibility. Actually all radios should have this type of module or some sort of module system to where you can expand it to have other custom radios be able to use for your radio of choice. Really useful to have. Over here is all of your expanding ports. So you have your USB, USB SD card, looks like an audio cable, and then either a buddy port or some sort of specific port for you to plug in for your FrSky. So all of your expanding ports are nicely covered up here. What you'll notice is that they have some nice rubber grips on the side. Definitely a really nice feature. The only thing I don't like about the back is that there is no removable battery. So if your battery starts declining or going bad, you're going to have to open up this whole back piece to get to that removable battery. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the LCD screen. Obviously that's the big nice LCD at the top of it, which is rather bright. We had this outside, and you can perfectly see the LCD screen. There wasn't really any issues with that. This is the natural home screen, in which you have your counters that you can set up. There's also things like your RSSI, your batteries, and your analog voltage. So a few telemetry things that you can have on your main display. So we're going to go ahead and hit the system button down here, and over here you can see there's plenty of options for you to choose from. Select model time, display. We're not going to go through all of these, but you can easily rotate the knob to get through one of these, and then you can push in to actually go inside one of these menus, and then you can hit return to back out of it. You can go to model, in which case you can set up all of your specific configuration trims and everything that you want on your controller, and then the telemetry, if you have it set up, can be displayed very easily with the telemetry button. So that's everything that we have on the right side for the circular menu system. On the other side, we have the page up and the page down, in which case you can scroll through the menu system on each one, I presume. So before wrapping up the video for this quick look, I just wanted to give you a size comparison really quick between radios. A lot of us have heard that this radio is rather large, and after handling it for a while, it's really not that much larger than a standard size radio. So over here we can have a side-by-side comparison next to a Spectrum DX6. I don't have a Taranis with me, never really bought a Taranis radio. Just didn't like the radio, so that's why I never bought one, and I have high hopes for this one because this looks to be a good radio. But as you can tell, it is bigger, and if you lift it, it is slightly heavier. I don't know the exact weight, not really caring to actually go look at it, but you can tell that it's slightly heavier, but it's not so much heavier that it becomes a burden, in my opinion, just by lifting the two radios side by side. It's perfectly fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and stand them up and give you a shot of them. As you can see, the Horus is definitely wider, which if you have a backpack, it might actually make it more difficult, if not impossible, to fit into your backpack. So that's something that you want to be aware of when you actually buy the Taranis, if you're one of the backpack people that want to fit everything that you have into a backpack. If we look at the sides, it's actually not too thick of a radio. The only thing about this is that the top bar does make it quite a bit thicker up top. It would have been nice if this was somehow either retractable or you can shift it back, in which case this will become a much thinner radio, and it would be easier to fit into you know, some sort of backpack device or third-party case. So that was a quick look at the new FrSky radio. I really can't give you much of an opinion on the radio right now, not until I actually get some stick time in it. It looks like it's going to be a really good radio. It feels really nice, it feels really high-tech, but until you actually get out and use it, really don't have much to say. I will say, for my small hands, trying to get to some of the corners can be quite difficult if you're pinching with it. So that's something that people with small hands, you definitely want to try out the radio. Make sure that the gimbals feel good to you, and you can actually reach the outer edges of each of the sides on the gimbals. It's a tiny bit of a stretch. It's something that I've already noticed. But so far, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big deal, but you never know. As I said, with experience, you'll find out whether or not this radio is for you. But so far, so good. Really looking forward to getting out there, playing with this radio, and seeing what it can do.